How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay.
Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now.
Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com. Brought to you by Glisten and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I hope everybody is having a great day. And I got to tell you, it's so interesting because I've encountered a lot of situations lately where people are just heavy. There's a lot of sorrow and sadness, and hopefully that's not the case for you. But I got to tell you, there's been a lot of people walking around with some very heavy heart situations going on. And if that is the case for you, that is what this show is for. It's a time for you to call in, tap into motivation, get inspired, lift yourself up inside so your life is not so heavy. We are live. You can call in. The number's 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. As a certified life coach, I encounter so many different situations that my clients are going through. A lot of times it may be overcoming a death, it may be job transition, relationship transitions, you name it, and even health issues. So truly, the thing about life that's so interesting is that we're never going to escape that sadness. We're never going to escape challenges. They're going to come. So the best way to just prepare is to know that they're going to come your way and that you want to handle them as they come. For me, going legally blind, it was just honestly denial at first. When I was diagnosed at 16, I thought, you know what? The doctors have to be wrong. There's no way I'm going to go blind by 40. Well, I'm 39 today. I'm happy to say that, loving every minute of it, but I'm not quite blind, but I'm definitely have lost a lot of vision. And that has not come with an easy transition. It's been very challenging. And so I share that personal side of my life with you because I'm with you, okay? These moments in life that test us are difficult. They are not only tests, but they really allow us to see what we're made of inside, that strength, that inner survival skills that we have to get beyond the challenge, to get to the other side. And for anybody that's gone through it, you've gone through that fire, you do know that there is another side. You don't know it when you're in it, but for all of us who have been through it, there is that other side. And I promise you this, whatever you're going through, hold on. Talk to people, seek resources, do whatever you got to do, because the thing is life is good, life is great. You just have to be able to get around the bend, get around the struggles, and then really grab life with both hands and don't let it go because it's an awesome ride. Again, part of being on the show when you call in is that you do help others to be more educated. You help others to learn from your life lessons. So in fact, we're going to go to the lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, hello.
Hi, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So tell us, what's going on today?
Okay, so I've known one of my closest friends since we were teenagers, but just as of recently, I really feel like we're growing apart from one another, and it really does feel like she'd rather hang out with anyone besides me. So do you think I should let this friendship end itself, or should I just attempt to be friends again?
It's a great question, and we've all lost touch with people. I guess one of the questions I'd have to ask you is, what do you miss most about that friendship?
Mainly I could just talk to her about anything. If something was taking place in my life, it would be taking place within hers as well, and we could really just communicate to one another.
And obviously you haven't talked in some time, and she's kind of gone other directions. Do you feel, though, that she is still that same person, or do you feel that maybe she's changed?
I feel like we both changed. We both went to college, so we've both grown into different people, being away from home and everything. So I think we both changed, but I can see a change in her as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you miss her like you wonder what she's doing? It's more of a wonder, or do you miss her with sadness?
More of a wonder of what she's doing, like what she's up to.
Okay. And the reason why I ask that question is because from time to time, there's going to be people that we wonder about, and it's more of a lighthearted curiosity. And then there's going to be people that we truly miss, like our heart cries for them. Like we miss laughing with them, we miss confiding in them. And so sometimes in life, we just have to evaluate the depth of that friendship. And the thing is, our life is full of chapters, right? We have a chapter of our childhood, we have a chapter of our adolescence, adulthood, and beyond. And then from there, our life even gets more niched, right? We might have a chapter about college. We might have a chapter about our first job, our first relationship, you name it. So what you might want to do is send her an email or call her. I wouldn't do text. I think that's way impersonal for that first connection. But I would put yourself out there and say something of substance, something that the two of you would get. Maybe it's an internal joke that you used to laugh about, or maybe it's remembering a time that you both enjoyed together, and see how she responds. If she responds with the same curiosity, the same, oh, I'm so glad you called, I've been thinking about you, then that might be a relationship to put more effort into and let it grow, let it regrow again. It's not going to be the same version of, but it may even be better. If she doesn't get back to you right away via email, or if she doesn't return your call right away, or if she returns your call but it sounds very surface-like, well, then that might be a relationship that you don't overly pursue. Maybe the best of that relationship is left in that one chapter of your life.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Wow, that sounds amazing. I almost definitely have to call her then.
Yeah, and it sounds like calling is the way to go. So if that was what you said first. So I would give her a call. I'd love to know how it goes, though. So please do give us a call back and keep us posted. And we do believe it's going to go great. Okay.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right.
So thank you. So she brings up a great point. The thing is relationships can get severed. They can become distant. And when I think about the people in my life, my parents got divorced when I was younger, and I have two half-sisters that I sadly have not talked to in months. I would say almost 9 months. And, I share that with you because, boy, time goes fast, right? I can't even believe that we're so far in the year where we are today. And the thing is it's a conscious effort that if we want to stay in touch with people, we have to invest in those relationships. So please know that I am right there with you. When I have this conversation with our last caller, or when I share that with you, it inspires me to want to, after this show, give them a call, leave them a message, let them know I'm thinking about them. So think about in your life today, who have you lost touch with? Who do you miss? And is that a deep miss that you really want to reunite that friendship again, that love again? Or again, is that a relationship that's better left in the past? Only you can decide that. And by reaching out to that person, they will tell you back if they want to take the next step forward. Loss is one of those things that none of us like. It's very uncomfortable. It feels sad, and it feels almost like there's no hope. But in loss, when we lose a friendship, when we lose a job, it's important to always remember the beauty, the lessons learned, the time well spent with that person in that position, whatever you name it. And I share that with you because we're going to be having a guest in our next segment who has gone through so much loss. And again, sometimes loss is that job, is a friendship, but sometimes it's the loss of missing time in our own life. So many times we might go through a period of time where we're stuck in a relationship, we're stuck in a job, or we just flat out are complacent and we don't take action. When we get in that place and when we finally turn around and we want to make an action occur in our life, there's this loss of, oh my gosh, how much time have I lost, right? There's been a lot of people. You have the power to not lose time. You have the ability today to grab hold of your life, start it over. If you had a childhood that was less than you wish it had been, maybe you missed out on a lot of things, it's not too late. Go to an amusement park. Do childlike activities. Experience that. You know, I went to a neighborhood picnic the other day, and they had this bouncy toy. And you better believe it, I got in there with the 3-year-olds, the 6-year-olds. I was rolling around the balls. I was bouncing on my knees. And I was having a great time. So again, if childhood loss is what you're missing, it's never too late to regain that. If you're missing a friendship, if you're missing a relationship, a relative relationship, reach out to that person. Take that risk. Life is worth risking. Life is worth taking chances. And especially if you can further grow that relationship and bring it back, and maybe it'd be stronger than ever, just like our last caller. So I want you to consider over this next 45 minutes we have together, I want you to think about in your life, what do you miss most in terms of relationships, in terms of hobbies? And let's take away that missing. Let's take away that loss out of your life. Let's take that desperate, sad feeling and replace it with hope. Replace it with motivation. And let's get you out there so that you can be full of life and living your life full out. Again, we have an exciting guest coming up, Dave Pelzer. He's going to take us on quite a journey, so hold on tight, because he's not only experienced abuse, but he's also experienced the loss of his childhood, and also just that feeling of, where do I go now? So please know that we are here. Feel free to call in. That number is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. I got to tell you, one of the things I love most about this show is the letters, the calls, the follow-up I get after the show of how many lives gets changed. So if you call in, you just might change and inspire someone in their life. And if Dave Pelzer's story, our guest, inspires you, let that wash over you as well, because that's what it's all about. We're all living out together. We'll be right back.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help, not just one, but all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with.
This ad sponsored by Ad Council and EarthShare.
Hi, I can't come to the phone right now because I'm abusing my children. Not just verbally, but physically. I'll get back to you.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so call 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. Brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Later, much later, we heard something. We didn't breathe for listening. Then footsteps on the back porch, creeping, then more confident. After all, nobody was home. A hand closed on the knob on the screen door to the kitchen and found it latched. We heard a little sawing sound as a file began to slice through the screen wire. Grandma reached down for something in her sewing basket. Through the darkness, I managed to notice Grandma's rocker was rocking and she wasn't in it. She was standing over me. "Keep just behind me," she whispered. I followed her across the room into the kitchen. Now we were by the door, and I heard the scuffle of heavy feet in there on the crinkly linoleum. Grandma turned back to me. Under my nose, she struck a wooden match with her thumbnail. She touched the match to something in her other hand. It sizzled. Then she leaned down and rolled it into the invisible kitchen. Explore new worlds. Find out what happens next by reading the book A Long Way from Chicago by Richard Peck. For other great book ideas, visit literacy.gov. A message from the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. So today we are talking about loss. We're talking about missing people, missing hobbies, missing events in our life, and what we can do when we're in that place of struggle, when we're in that place of despair. And the thing is as a life coach, I get a lot of clients that come to me just feeling as though they're lacking something in their life, they're missing something, or they've missed a lot in their life. And I want you to know that is why we have this show. That is why we give you access to call in. Again, the number to call in is 800-333-0001, because this show is for you to get that motivation, to know that the past is in the past. That sorrow, that missing, all of that heavy weighted drama on your body, that can be lifted off, that can be let go. You have the ability to the control to do that. Now, we are all given different decks of cards in our life, different situations. For me, it was going legally blind, which has been just a crazy, wonderful, but scary in some ways experience, because obviously going blind means that you start to see things less. You start to see faces disappear. You start to see the lines on the road disappear, and you give up driving. Well, my loss is not any other different than somebody else's loss when they have a death that's occurred in their family, or they have missed out on a period of time in their life. And that transitions me right now to our special guest today, Dave Pelzer. I got to tell you, stay tuned for his story, because imagine being a boy, a good boy, somebody who, has a great heart, but yet you're abused by the one person who should protect you most, your mom. You're not only abused, but you're basically put in the basement and just kind of left there. And you're also forced to do chores and on and on and on. That was Dave's childhood. He's going to tell us a lot more about his story, childhood to today, so stay tuned. Dave, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi. I wanted to give our audience just a little bit of your early childhood, because truly you are, I just love talking to you every time, because for somebody who's gone through all that you have, you're such a giddy, positive spirit. And honestly, you are. So if I didn't know your story, I would think that wasn't real. I'd be like, no way.
It's an anomaly, because there's some friends I have or people I work with that don't know what I call the backstory. And it's like anything, and you just said it perfectly, because, I do a lot of speaking, or I have a radio show, and I say basically the same thing, that everybody has a past, everybody has an issue, and it's really what you do about it. I mean, you can crumble, the weight can just make you crumble in a sense, or you just do the best you can. And I come up, or I have a sentence that says, I've never met anybody that comes crying to me saying, oh my gosh, I'm a victim of cancer. They say, I'm fighting cancer, I'm a survivor of cancer. So it really has to do with your outlook. And in my case, I lost 12 years of my life. I was, one of the worst cases of child abuse in California's history, from age 4 to age 12. And it was emotional, it was psychological, it was very physical, and it was very desperate in a sense, because as a child, you're all alone, you're not sure what to do or how to do things, and then you come to that road of acceptance that I had to feed myself or mend my wounds and so forth. But I look at it now that I'm 54, and I just can't believe the blessed life that I've been given. I have 10 fingers and 10 toes, You know, I have a very strong heart, and I have a pretty good brain, and yet maybe being abused for those 8 years, you know, has given me a different sense of appreciation of life.
Well, and I'm so glad you say that, because honestly, you've grown past it. But you know, when people are going through abuse, or they're in that moment or place in their life of despair, when they hear a story like yours, and everybody listening, I'm telling you, if Dave can overcome what he did, you can. Now, everybody's situations are going to be unique, and every level of abuse is going to be it's be severe or not, but it's going to be unique to yourself. But Dave, can you take us back a bit, because you not only were abused, but I mean, they couldn't even refer to you as Dave. You were the boy.
Well, I was the boy at first, and then I became it. And it was very, and I'll say this nicely, too, because I try to have a good heart.
Yeah.
And I do try to keep what I call my side of the street clean. But, again, knowing what I know about psychology and knowing what I know about abuse and how a lot of people react to their past, you know, bad marriage, abuse, and so forth, I am just the luckiest person I know, because I'll say this with love in my heart. I should be dead. I should be rotting away in prison, or I should be such a terrorist that ISIS would blush. It started at age 4 with the brainwashing. I was always a bad boy. I always deserved to be punished. It graduated to the point that my brothers, my younger siblings, would say, "Hey, what's wrong?" "Well, don't you act bad, or I'll treat you like the boy." It got to the point I was isolated from the family. I lived in a basement at age 4 where I thought these monsters would get me, that I had to perform so many chores in so many seconds. It got to the point that my mother announced to the family that I was no longer a member of the family. No one was allowed to address me. My head had to be down. I was the family slave. Ate out of garbage cans, wasn't fed for 10 days at a time, or forced to swallow ammonia, or stabbed and not allowed to go to the hospital for fear that the secret would be exposed. It was just a constant humiliation. And knowing I know about perpetrators and pedophiles, the quote my teacher, Mrs. Woodworth, she's still with us, and we talk, you know, several times a year, and I give her flowers every Mother's Day, and every time we have a conversation, she shakes. She'll always grab my hand, and she apologizes, and she says, "David, your mother was absolute evil." And the way she says it, it just makes me shudder, because my mother fed off the control and the power. And unfortunately for my mom, she was abused. She was raised that it didn't happen. There was denial and never exposed the family secret. And the mantra in my Mother's Day was to keep Pandora's box closed. Mm-hmm. So what I try to do is find out how bad this sickness or cancer is, dissect it as best I can, and therefore I have preventive medicine about either talking about it or looking for clues. Or the bottom line is we have to be the change, whether it's a bad divorce or a bad diet, or we have diabetes, or something unfortunate happened in our past. We have the power and control, and sometimes you just have the guts to say, you know what, I'm going to live a better life. I lost a few years. I lost this. I lost that. But I have 40, 60 good years left. What am I going to do?
Well, I love that you're saying that, because it is really strengthening your mindset, making that decision, and really overriding what you went through and that loss. Now, somebody listening, because I went through the same questioning with you as well, is I get your brothers being intimidated by your mom and why they didn't challenge her, but where was your father during that time?
Well, my father was a firefighter. You see, here's the sad and even strangely romantic part of this whole thing. My father was a firefighter in San Francisco, and I've talked to his firemen buddies, you know, on the shift, and his old captain and so forth, and they all say the same thing. My father was a very gentle person, a very gentle man. As a firefighter, he was ferocious. And you look at psychology, it's almost like you might be the bull at the fire station, but, you know, you're not going to really take that home. And back in my father's day, and I know this sounds horrible, but we have to break this down. Men were men. Men brought home the paycheck. Men did manly things around the house. And the women ran the household. And I'll never forget my mom basically saying that to my dad, saying, "These kids are my business. This is my house." And it was very possessive of my mom. My father became what they call a passive observer. In the beginning, he thought, well, Dave's just a bad child, and I guess Dave, the boy, has to be disciplined, and golly gee whiz. But then, even when I was stabbed, My mother, by accident, was not premeditated. Most of the things she did was premeditated. One time she was very drunk, and she had a knife in her hand, and she was threatening me, and the knife slipped from her hand and stabbed me right below the chest. Blood is everywhere. My mother was a nurse before she married my dad, and I remember walking over, not even walking, but I had to slide my feet over because you can't really if you have a serious chest injury. My father, of course, had a couple of drinks. He was reading the paper, and I remember stuttering, "Mom stabbed me." And I thought, oh, my God, he's going to become Superman, because he would always say, "David, next time. Next time something happens, I'm going to talk to her. Next time something happens, you watch. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm not going to put up with this much longer. Next time." And when I stuttered that Mom had stabbed me, I remember seeing the paper shake, and I can just imagine him cowering down, and I'll never forget these words, Nancy. He said, "Jesus H. Christ, don't tell your mom you're talking to me. I don't want any more hell here today. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone." And I thought, oh, my God, my Superman, my firefighter, the rescue of rescuers, the first responder, was like dead to me. And years before that...
Dave, I'm just curious. Because he was the biggest male figure in your life, how did that affect your relationship with men?
I take everybody individually, and I try to take people at their word. Mm-hmm. And I know this sounds weird, and we're kind of going off in a different riff here, but I'm a weird monkey. If I shake your hand or look in your eye and say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed in a lot of relationships, particularly in business relationships, it doesn't go that way. But I just try to look at people just for who they are and how good they are, whether they're men or women, black, white, yellow, brown, 4 eyes, 2 eyes. I know it sounds weird. I don't care what they are on the outside. I just want to look at their heart on the inside. But it was sad because the other side of this equation is I was with my father when he passed away. My mother refused to call anybody. He was in the hospital for 4.5 months all alone. And it was like, the last stab to the back or to the heart. And he died homeless, and he was all alone. And the only thing that he had was his fireman's badge that he was able to give me. And it was sad because my father couldn't even talk. He had cancer of the neck and throat.
I am so sorry to hear that. And you know what? We're going to have to go to a commercial break, which is a weird, tough right turn here. But you're just talking about something now that I want to get back into when we come back from commercial break, because you did have that breakthrough. You did have that moment of clarity where you got your greatest strength. So when we come back, I want to talk about that with you, okay?
Yes.
But honestly, you are a light, you are love, you are strength, you're everything bundled in a very mature grown man who's making a difference, and that's all you can ask of one's life. So everybody stay tuned. We will be coming back with more of Dave Pelzer. We'll be back.
Ahoy there, matey. How's the fishing this morning?
Shh! You'll scare the fish.
Oh, nonsense. Fishies love the safety pirate. Now tell me, I see you're wearing your life jacket, and that's mighty smart of you. But have you taken a boating safety course?
I have. Now, could you please leave?
So you know to stay alert by not mixing alcohol and boating, don't you?
I do.
But I bet you didn't know it's dangerous to speed on the water. Now, did you, Turbo?
Actually, I knew that.
Well, smarty pants. You seem to know it all, don't you?
Yep. Maybe even more than a safety pirate.
Watch your mouth, sailor!
When you're out on the water this year, make sure you're being safe. Learn the boating rules and watch out for other boaters.
And remember to boat smart. Boat safe.
A message from the National Safe Boating Council.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school. Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, hello. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we are talking about loss. We're talking about how to push through when times seem so desperate, when we are dealing with the heavy-hearted burdens of abuse or neglect or just complacency or sadness in our lives. And today our guest Dave Pelzer is a great example of how one can go through years of torture and terror and come out the other end positive, loving life, embracing life, and taking what he went through to further pay it forward and impact the lives of others. I want to welcome back Dave Pelzer. Dave, welcome back to the show.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. So, Dave, it's so amazing to me because your mom, yes, she stabbed you, which we talked about in the last segment, but she also burnt you. And she poisoned you, right? She did a lot of different forms of torture. How did you survive that?
Luck. I mean, Nance, believe me, I would love to say the words that Orson Welles once expounded to the world. He said to the world, he announced to the world, I am a genius. And they took him for his word. Oh my God, he's just, everything that spews from him is genius. And we see personas that vomit this type of thing. But the truth is luck. Mm-hmm. It's just right time, right place. Because if you break it down psychologically, children think in black and white. You can leave a child in a room, and even if you do something, they're going to find a way. They're going to cry, they're going to whatever, and then they'll fall asleep. They'll eat out of garbage cans. They'll do what they have to do. It's the adults that have that gray matter. Okay, who's going to take care of me? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? When I was 8, as you said, my mom had burned me on a gas stove at age 8, and rather than burn me further, I just manipulated the situation to have her hit me rather than burn me. And minutes later, after I was in this situation, this ping pong event, the psychological ping pong, I was in the bottom of the basement where I resided. I purged for the first time. I cried, realizing I'm not the reason my mom drinks, why they fight, all these things. And I remember feeling my right arm become blisters were on the arm. And I thought, if I can feel this, I'm alive, which means I'm not dead, which means, oh my gosh, I won. Mm-hmm. I came up with a plan. I did this, and the thing that really, the fork in the road for me, the Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind moment, I won't go hungry again, is I raised my right arm, which was in so much pain from the blisters, and I made a vow. Now, I'll slow down a little bit. Because all of us have a fork in the road. All of us have an issue. We all have that bottom well moment. Whether you're an alcoholic or an addict, you say, I woke up homeless, or I did this, or my wife or son left me. We all have these moments of acceptance and clarity. And I remember promising to myself and my higher power, I said, I'm never going to quit, and I want to give everything my best shot. So those little things, those little marbles I put in my backpack, and every day, if my mom didn't feed me, I would steal water. If she would attack me, I'd try to tighten up my body. If she tried to poison me, I would swallow some of the pink, thick dishwashing fluid and spit it out. If she forced me to swallow ammonia, I'd try to vomit it out and then try to just drink as much water. So it was a yin-yang thing. And the thing that's important is when I was rescued and placed in foster care, I adopted that same mentality. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. In the military, in the Air Force, if people ran 2 miles, I would run 15 miles. If they did 20 push-ups, I would do 45. It's almost like, how bad do you want it? Do you want it more? Or even now, which is kind of a dovetail to my father, I became a firefighter a couple years ago. And I carried my dad's badge, and they gave me my dad's badge with an A behind it. And I by luck, I guess, I became firefighter of the year just a couple months ago. And I
congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I tell the people the same thing. I'm not the best at what I do, but I will always give you my best. And that's the difference. You have to just hunker down and fight for what you believe in and just do the best that you can for your mission.
Mm-hmm. It's Dave, it's interesting because in this case, your abuser was your mom. But one might ask you, did your mom... Did you ever get justice? Did she ever get punished?
Well,
where did that land?
Well, Nancy, it's weird, and we're both adults here, and when I speak to kids, I obviously talk about different things, and I talk about a sense of justice. I think, and I'm a nice guy, and I'm pretty spiritual, and I've never said this before. Did my mother get her justice? Hell yes. She had to. A person with so much power and so much control, before she died, had rheumatoid arthritis, had nothing in her life. The OCD, meticulous, beautiful belle of the ball, back in her day in the Bay Area, had a rotten home with feces from animals and the smoke and the alcohol, and it was just dark and disgusting. And day by day by day, she had to live to die. The other part of the justice was, gosh, Mrs. Pelzer, your son is California Volunteer of the Year. How do you feel about that? Your son helps abuse kids. Your son is an Air Force war hero. Your son is a juvenile hall counselor. How do you feel about that, Mrs. Pelzer? There's different forms of justice. Mm-hmm. And I think the best justice is just being a good person, and what other people say or do against you, that's their side of the street, and that's white noise. Mm-hmm. And my mother died a very lonely, broken woman. Mm-hmm. Who was never happy because she got infected by that black virus, that black heart. What is the saying about hate? When you have hate in your heart and you take a sip of tea, you're waiting for the other person to die, and that's really disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I do believe that we want to be opposite of what we went through.
Yeah, because if anything, my mom was abused, let's say, 100 pounds worth of abuse.
Yeah,
and to get even, she has to abuse me 100 million pounds. Now, for me to get even, I got to join ISIS and drop nuke weapons all over the world. I mean, we all see this in the world today, where it's just so, I think the word is almost ignorant, silly, and arrogant about how much hatred. And then you ask people, why do you hate so much? I don't know, I forgot. But I know I hate you.
I'm sure glad you didn't go towards hate. I'm glad you went towards love and towards teaching and mentoring and all the good that you've done. Now, one of the things that we talk about here at Living Full Out is asking for help, seeking resources. And I know for you, and I'm going to give a big plug to all the teachers out there in the world, school was your safe haven. It was your place where you could get away. And today you're still closely connected to those teachers, correct?
Oh, Miss Constant passed away a year and a half ago, right before Mother's Day, which is very sad for all of us. But I'm still close to Miss Woodworth, and of course Mr. Ziegler's still with us, and so forth. But I'll say this with love in my heart: I have a fair amount of accolades. The Outstanding Person of America, Outstanding Person of the World, the National Jefferson Award, and commercial success with the books. A Child Called It was on the New York Times for 6 years. I had all these accolades, but I was nobody until I got commercial success with the books, which is unfortunately the Kardashian American way, as I call it. And I've had beautiful offices with my flags and military coins and photos of people I've met. And I'll say this: the most precious photo I have is that of my teachers. On the exact day of the 20th anniversary of my rescue, I went to visit my teachers, and I always give some seminars to the kids and something for the teachers. And on the 20th anniversary is when the first book was printed. And I'm proud to say that the book was dedicated to my teachers, and they were the first ones to get it. And every Mother's Day, they get a bouquet of flowers. And now that Miss Constance passed away, I give it to her daughter up in Oregon. But my teachers, I'll say this, I'll slow down when I say this. They literally saved my life. They saw me. They smelled me. They knew exactly what was going on, but we didn't have penal codes to protect children or those trying to protect kids back then. And they really put their careers on the line. And I just think it's beautiful now that my son's 29 as of tomorrow. And I go to we had a baseball game this last Sunday in San Francisco, and I can pop in to see a teacher and, take him to lunch or do something like that. But that relationship, that mentoring, genuine love relationship, and how it's gone for, oh my goodness, a good 35, 40 years now.
Well, and that's so important for everybody to hear, because whatever situation one is going through, financial stress, relationships, abuse, you name it, if you can get through the fire, if you can get through the situation, you can come out the other end, you can then give back to someone else in need. And you've done just that. I'm curious, though, there are going to be people listening today that are going through abuse. They may have been abused as a child and they've continued to choose the wrong relationships that further that abuse, or maybe they're being abused by another adult. What do you say to somebody going through that form of torture?
I'll say this, and I want I want the audience to listen to every syllable of what I'm saying. If you're being abused, it's not going to stop, and it's not going to get better. You have to kind of give yourself permission to have the courage to do something. As I always tell people where I work with addicts or people going through a situation, spouse abuse or abuse, if what you're doing right now isn't working, you have to change the equation. You have to do something else. And right now in this society, there is no shame. You can pick up a phone, you can text, you can tweet, you can do something to get help that you need and deserve. Mm-hmm. And it's sad because every day there's a death. And as a firefighter, I see this all the time. Mm-hmm. And what really gets to my heart is, oh my gosh, if only this would have happened, it could have changed the equation. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what you're saying too, I mean, if you're abused and you haven't gotten the right help, whether it's therapy or purging, whatever you have to do to get it out of your system, it can be a very rough road with issues of esteem, choosing bad mentors or bad relationships or bad situations, and it kind of compiles upon itself. It's like I tell people, when you vomit everything out. You want to get everything out of your belly. So psychologically, you want to do the same. And then you find out, oh my God, it wasn't me. It was that person's issues. That was that person. That's not me. And then you're on the slow road to recovery. But look at it this way, too. In my case, I survived 8 years of abuse. And because of that, I have hopefully a sense of appreciation, humbleness, or whatever it is I have that makes my life beautiful every day. Mm-hmm.
Well, and truly, like I said earlier, you are going on to do great things. You've done so many things to assist and positively impact the lives of others. And I really appreciate you being a guest with us today. And we're about to go back into another commercial, but I could talk to you for hours. So thank you.
We'll have another show, and we'll do more comedy for you next time.
I love it. Dun, dun, dun. But honestly, Dave, thank you so much for being a part of this show.
And Nancy, as I close out, I'll say this. Thank you for the work that you do and the lives that you change. And God bless you on your mission, my dear.
Oh, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
You bet, ma'am.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we'll be coming right back after this next break. Again, we're taking your calls live in the next segment. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts. Now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a lost cat magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Living full out is about taking action in your life, but it's not about just taking action that doesn't have meaning. It's about really feeling yourself inside, taking that passion, that loss, that negative and positive experiences, and channeling that to move yourself forward to achieve your goals and dreams. Living full out is about not just getting to where you want to go on your own, but really wrapping your arms around others in your life so you can all move forward and live full out together.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. What a great interview with Dave. Thank you so much again, Dave. I know you're listening, so really appreciate that honesty and all that he went through. And, you know, we've all gone through those moments of being at that crossroad, wanting to give up. And whenever you hit that moment, I want you always to remember that you're not made of glass. You're not Gumby either. You're not this rubber band or this rubber figure. You're a living, breathing person. You are someone who has a huge heart. You're someone that has blood going through your veins. You're full of life, so much ahead of you to live, so many loves ahead of you as well. And I just bring that up because sometimes when we feel alone and sometimes when we feel hopeless, we forget that we have that breath inside us. We have the ability to take that action in our lives. So part of taking action is reaching out to someone. When you need help, if you're being abused, I want you to reach your hand out so someone else can grab it and help you. And that's part of what this show is for. Again, we're open. We're live here. The number is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. I know for myself, I've turned to a lot of people in my life. They have been my strengths. And it's rather ironic in that I'm legally blind because my friends, my family, my colleagues, everybody who I connect with, they're my eyes. You know, they're a part of my heart. They're an extension of my arms. Sometimes when I feel like I can't even take another step forward because I'm so exhausted, they're my legs. So literally, the people in your life, when you choose the right people to connect with, they will help you to bring you forward. When you find those people, grab onto them, hold them tight, and do favors back and forth. You know, be there for them as well. So I bring all this up again because you may or may not have a lot of people in your life to turn to. And don't give up, because the thing is, there's somebody out there who is just waiting to be of service to you. There's somebody out there who has had a relative, a sibling, a husband or a wife who's gone through a challenge, and they have a lot of passion to help people in your situation. So really, truly be open, extend that arm, and just wait to see what happens. It's a great journey. We're going to go back to the lines again. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. So tell us, what's going on? What's going on today?
I don't know. I'm just kind of nervous. You know, I'm getting ready to retire and move, so it's another change in my life. It's kind of nervous.
Mm-hmm. That is a big change. Are you? So you're still working?
Still am. Mm-hmm.
Still working. Do you have a certain day in mind when you're going to retire?
No, well, we're gonna sell our house.
Okay.
So when that kind of sells, so we're everything's kind of up in the air, but it's a little nerve wracking. It's just like a page that we're turning in our life, and haven't done that before. So,
is the nerve wracking more about the not fear necessarily, but it could be fear? Is it the fear? Is it the overwhelming excitement of the unknown of what's coming, or is there sadness? It's all about what's coming.
Yes, it is. I don't know what's around. You don't know what's around the corner because you can't see it.
Well, in the past, how have you handled those situations? What's got you through?
You just do it, I guess. I don't know. It's like when we first had our kids. You don't know. It's kind of, you just go with the flow, kind of. But you don't know.
Mm-hmm. So when you hit these unknown situations, because we know they're going to come, right? There's going to be very unexpected moments. How do you handle stress in your life?
I guess I go to the gym. I kind of work it out, I guess.
Awesome. I need to hang out with you more often. But to me, I like mac and cheese, but some people go to the gym.
Yeah.
So it'll be
go for a walk and kind of hang out, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've never been this kind of part in my life where, it's the age. You get up there in the age, and it's time to move on. And wow, you look back and you look at the things I've done, and you just got to go, well, it's time to move on.
Well, have you had a good life?
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah?
I have 3 wonderful kids.
And you know what? When you say that, I can actually feel you smiling through the airwaves here. You've done it. You've done a good job, right? So it's time to put on that party hat. It's time to retire. It's time to, in a very living, full-out way, grab hold of this next chapter of your life. And most importantly, it's time to find a gym in that new area, because the best way to protect ourselves against those really hectic days is to have those things in our life that bring us peace and joy. So for some people, that's the gym. For some people, if they play an instrument, they need to get that instrument set up in their house right away. Or if somebody cooks and that brings them joy, then unpack the kitchen first. Have the things in your home around you that are going to bring you joy. So when you hit those stressful moments, you can de-stress.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to that's what I've had the roots here for so long. It's kind of hard to kind of like uproot them and try to start new roots,
Well,
I don't know, maybe it's kind of like leaving our friends and then finding new friends. What's tougher?
Well, it's quite possible that these new friends are going to be some of the greatest relationships you've ever had.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, right? And this life that you're leaving, no one's passed away, no one's gone. It's not a final goodbye. It's just that you're transitioning. You're just going somewhere else. So I really want you to keep us posted on it, okay? I think it's going to be an exciting journey, and we wish you all the best here at Living Full Out.
Yes.
So thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll give you we'll see if we can get you an update.
Awesome. I look forward to it. All right. Go join that gym, though. Find that first.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
So, you know what? He brings up a great suggestion. The thing is transitions in life, being lost in life, it isn't losing someone necessarily. It isn't just even losing a period of time in our past. Sometimes loss is when we're saying goodbye to someone, but it's not really a goodbye. Whenever somebody transitions from one city to another, maybe you're leaving a job and you had great coworkers to go to another job. Maybe you're ending a relationship. It doesn't have to be a final goodbye. It doesn't have to come with all this overwhelming loss. You can actually transition through life in a way that is positive, in a way that allows you to celebrate all that you've had over your life, yet embrace what's coming. So as we've gone through the journey of today, really loss comes in different forms, but it's not all about that output, all that despair, all that worry, all that fear. Concentrate on the positive. Concentrate on what's coming. I get really excited for people like Dave, our guest today, because he's had a lot of great experiences, great accolades, but what else is going to come? That's exciting. When I think about our caller earlier in the show today, and she was trying to possibly reconnect with her long-lost friend, when she connects with that friend, wow, where could that friendship go? Thinking about that first time they sit down together and talking about all the stories of where they've been, what they've been up to, that's exciting. Or even our last caller today, moving to a new area, retiring. Let's always remember to concentrate on the positive. I know for myself, when I think about my future, I don't know. I might go completely blind. And that could be a really scary thought if I relish in it. But what I want to focus on is the positive. Focusing on the fact that even though I go blind, I can still hear somebody say, I love you. I can still feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. I can still eat my mac and cheese that I love so much. The thing is losing something in life doesn't have to be a loss if you keep a positive attitude. It's really important to remember that we have the ability to use words in our life that are going to support us. Take out those don'ts, those shouldn'ts, those won'ts. Take out sentences where you might say the word not or can't, and focus on positive. Surround yourself with people that support you, people that will be your eyes, your arms, your legs. And I believe that when we do that, we are living full out. Living full out is not about getting that award, getting to the top of the hill. Living full out are the experiences. I want you to laugh hard. I want you to cry hard. If you need to purge and get something out of your system, do it. But most of all, embrace life. Take action. Know that your life is worth it. I know for me, this outlet, this Living Full Out show, it's very special, and I want to thank my entire team. We got Mindy Lockhart, we got Tony Richards. We have so many people that contribute to making this show an outlet for you to tap into empowerment each week. So we will be back next week with another very powerful show on about reaching goals, going for your goals, and another very special guest that will be sharing her journey and how she overcame the loss in her life, the lessons that she learned. As we kind of depart today, I want you to remember also that every day is a new day. So when you think about this week, the rest of this year, even into next year, put together goals that are attainable. When we think about loss, when we think about reconnecting with people, really evaluate, bringing that relationship back into your life. Is that going to be one that's going to best support where you're going? Those goals that you have for yourself, are you looking backwards? Or are you looking forwards? Are you trying to reignite the past, which is in the past? Or are you looking forward to the future? I choose the future. I want you to choose the future. Those goals that you have for yourself, put a plan of action together. Bring that action, bring that plan next week to the show, and let's discuss that so that you can get that support. There's a lot of people right now who might be trying to lose weight or, do a new hobby that they've been putting off for a while. Next week's show is going to be one that's going to empower you to keep on going. So here's to everybody living your life full out. Again, thank you so much for listening. We'll be live next week. The number to call in is 800-333-0001. Go ahead and jot that down for next week. If you have questions and you want to follow up with us at Living Full Out, go ahead and reach out to me at Solari@livingfullout.com. That's N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, OLARI at livingfullout.com. Or check out our website, because there we will have a lot of valuable resources for you in assisting you to overcome feelings of loss, to help you to achieve those goals and dreams in your life. I want everybody to go out there today, live full out, smile big, embrace life, and again, reach out to those in your life. Here's to you living your life full out.